Hi, I'm Jasmine, and I'm an ActionForChange participant working on a project about mental health and eating disorders. I'm really excited to be here with Sarah Corbett today, who's the founder of Craftivist Collective, in talking about Craftivism in 2020. So what is Craftivism and how can it help with taking action?
So the simple way of saying craftivism is activism used in crafts. So I use handicrafts like embroidery and papercraft mostly, and activism is always the priority. So whatever cause you care about, you look at your strategy and then you say, where can craft be useful? And it can be useful in lots of different ways, which I know we're going to be talking about. Yeah, so there's loads of ways you can use craft in activism, and I've got loads of projects and my book all about it, and I know you've been to one of my workshops. So a few examples are, one, if you're struggling first of all with what your vision is for what change you want to see, if you're just looking at the problems, which is what we do as a default, making a cloud, a dream cloud of what your vision of how you want the world to be can really help you think through, okay, how can I make that vision a reality? So that's one way. You could make a gift for a power holder, which I know sounds a bit scary, but it might be a teacher, it might be a politician, might be a business leader, someone in your community that can be part of creating that solution you want. And we make handkerchiefs to say, don't blow it, use your power for good. We want to encourage you in your role. So this is a really good way to build a relationship with a power holder. We do lots of strange things as well, like we make little messages to shop drop, so the opposite of shoplifting, you drop it in pockets for people to find, and it creates really good thought in people. And we also do wearable activism, so this one on climate change is about wearing what you love. So I love bluebells, but it could be chocolate, it could be your family, it could be where you live, and you wear it, so when your friends and family and people you know say, why are you wearing a green heart on your sleeve? You can say, I really care about this issue, I want to protect it in this way, what do you care about? So it creates conversations on and offline. So there's lots of different ways, but your priority is always what do you care about and how can craft be part of that journey? So what project do you think we should go for today that would be most useful for you?
I really like the idea of the heart on the sleeve one, because
Yeah.
obviously climate change is a huge issue for everyone, so it'd be really interesting.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's go for that then. So we've got our example here. You've got your little kit.
Yep.
So if we open that, I really encourage anyone doing craftivism to have their strategy of where the craft fits in with your campaign, and then have these craft of thought questions for you to think through while you're stitching. And all the resources, I think for anyone doing craftivism, you should think about how to make your resources as ethical as possible. So these, we've got felt made from post-consumer plastic bottles, all of the fabrics donated, so it's all upcycled, and we've got little gifts for people to keep. So first thing is, what are you gonna write on your little banner, Jasmine?
I'll probably go for polar bears.
Yeah, so you write it nice and big, so it's not too hard to stitch. I'm gonna do it with a biro, but you could use this if you want. 'Cause I love my hometown. So do you wanna have a go with yours? Yeah. So don't write it too small because you have to do tiny stitches. How you doing?
There we go.
Perfect. So next thing is pick your thread of what colour you want.
Probably go for this reddy burgundy colour.
Yeah. So you cut it from your thumb to your shoulder. It's always good if you do craftivism workshops as well for your project, get people to share scissors even if you've got enough, because it just creates a sense of community, which is why we've got flowers and blueberries to share as well. Then the next thing is, which you've seen me do before, is you separate your thread and you do it like this, so it's so slow. Again, it forces you to slow down and be more thoughtful than reactive. And it helps you be like, how am I feeling? Have I got tense shoulders? Have I got shallow breath? Just checking in with yourself. So you do that, and then you'll see it's all twisted. So you just stroke it so it unravels, which again is really comforting. And then you can't see your message from the back. So this is where you see the amazingness of our hands, is your hands will soon know where to go by just prodding away like this. And then it's back stitch, because you always go back into the last stitch, so you overlap the last stitch, and then it looks like one continuous line. So once you've done a few, your hands will know what to do, and that's when your brain will start wandering off.
So can you tell us about what you do as a campaigner and why?
So it's changed over the years. So I've been doing Craftivism 10 years now as a hobby, and then people wanted to join in, and now it's full time. And I help create campaigns for anyone to use. So some of our projects you can use on any issue that you care about, and some are issue specific. I train people up on how to do effective craftivism, and my approach to craftivism I call gentle protest. So it's always thoughtfully done, so it's always got a strategy of focusing on what's the issue you care about and how can craft help. But it's always done in a compassionate way, so it's never screaming and demonising people. It's never creating burnout for the campaigners, which is a big issue that you should be thinking through as well with ActionForChange and with your Girlguiding work, and see where craft can be useful in your activism toolkit. So not as the only form of doing activism, but as one useful tool. I'm an introvert, so it's particularly useful for people who drain a lot from being around lots of people and burn out. So it's really good for introverts, really good for anxious people, really good for people to use the process to think more critically and thoughtfully about how to be part of the change they want to see. So whether you like craft or not, I've seen how powerful it can be for individuals making it, as well as how it can make real change in the world. So I don't want to stop doing it. And I think the world needs a lot of change. Lots of positive change, so there's lots to do.
And what successes have you had with your own campaigning?
Yeah, so I always say it's really hard to say what's the big success, because for me, someone emailing me or saying at an event oh my word, I took part in one of your projects and now I buy more ethically, or now my behaviour's changed, is just as powerful as some of our other campaigns where we were told by the chair of the board of one of the biggest retailers in the UK that through one of our gentle protest Craftivism projects, they decided to increase the wage of 50,000 of their staff from minimum wage to the living wage. So that's really keeps me going. And there's so many stories of people using it in their communities to engage with the mayor, politicians, business leaders, loads of different places. So lots more on the website, but there's a few of them.
You've done some really interesting things.
Yeah. But always with the goal of how can we serve the cause in the best way, rather than let's just do some quirky things for the sake of it. Even though that might be fun, we have to make sure we focus on the cause.
My project is based around eating disorders. So how do you think I could use Craftivism in my own ActionForChange project?
So for that, I'd say one of the great things about craft is it can really intrigue people, but in a quiet way. And especially when an issue's a taboo, it's really good to just quietly let people know that this is an issue to think about or to engage with. So it might be that our mini fashion statements for Fashion Revolution, you drop them in pockets in shops that you think could be more ethical, and there's messages inside saying, what's the story behind this item of clothes? Is it one of joy or pain? Find out more at FashRev, and people can then find out lots of ways to be part of the solution. It might be that you want to maybe leave small things in bathrooms or in certain areas. It might be student accommodation buildings where you say, what's your relationship around food? Is it a healthy one? Is it not? Find out more information here if you think this is something that you want to engage more with. So sort of light touch activism. And you could think about what are the symbols you want to use. Is it creating, what I love about Craftivism is it's handmade, so it's not mass produced, so it's you can see someone's made it with love and care and it's taken a long time. So could you make fabric cutlery with a message on that you leave around in kitchens saying, what's your relationship with food? Find out more here. A lot of our projects link to an existing campaign organisation. So with the mini fashion statements, we link it with Fashion Revolution. With the heart on your sleeve that we're both making, it's to support the Climate Coalition. So are there any campaign groups that you think are doing really good educational and services for people with unhealthy relationships with food that you want to promote and send people their way?
Yeah, definitely. There's quite a few different online things. Beat being probably the main one.
Yeah. So I'd find a way to channel people there, because what you also don't want is people going, yeah, I really care about this, and you don't have the capacity and the knowledge and the system behind it to tell people what to do. So I think about maybe making something that you can leave around, take social media pictures, maybe use one of their hashtags and leave some questions around for people, but always make sure that you're not just saying this is an issue and then people read it and go, I don't know what to do about it now, which can be more disempowering than empowering. You want to say, here's something, if this connects with you, here's free support for you, here's more information about someone that might be a family or friend or a loved one that people are concerned about, and they can find out more. So it could be a really good social media campaign or local media campaign. You could get people making it where you do some events where everyone joins you and makes the things together. There's so many options, but you know what I mean by starting with, okay, what's the priority and where can craft fits the priority rather than craft as the taskmaster.
Yeah, definitely.
Does that help?
Yeah, that's really helpful.
Cool.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, you are so welcome.
And if you found what you've heard today about Craftivism interesting, make sure to have a look at Craftivist Collective, as well as the badge that Sarah helped us create.